See you later, Frank.
1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas. This is on Facebook right now, and it's almost like it was planned because it being on Facebook, Josh Kail came in. You look good, man.
Thank you.
You look good. It's Rappin with the Reps. This is being live streamed on our Facebook page. If you have questions, you can call. You can also post your questions in the comment section. I almost hiccuped. It's early. In the comment section of the Facebook page. Do you want to start with the stuff that's going to be annoying or the stuff that is universally makes sense? How do you want to go with this?
The latter stuff, I don't think it actually exists, so you might as well start with the annoying.
No, it does, see? Yeah, it does. You're part of a bill about milk.
Oh,
What could possibly be controversial about milk? Explain to me, see? There is positive and universal. What's the milk bill? We'll start with that.
Well, I did. There actually was a robust debate on my Facebook page about the health benefits of milk and whether it actually is healthy or not, and whether it should be processed or not. And I'm not really competent in all of that stuff.
Can I ask you what the argument? What was the point of the anti-milk people?
I think they may have been disappointed that that I stated within my Facebook post that it was healthy for our kids, and
because it is.
Well, yeah, and there's been a lot of discussion throughout the years about and the bottom line is this.
I'm trying to drag you into it.
I know the federal government during the Obama administration took whole milk out of the schools.
And put what, that crappy 2%?
Yeah, they made it so it had to be 2% or skim. And it was part of this.
Skim's worse.
It was part of this initiative.
Skim dreams of being 2%. 2% dreams of nothing.
That's right. And so as part of this initiative, and in Pennsylvania we have a robust dairy farm market. Yeah. And so what we did is circumvented the federal government, because they have no jurisdiction over us so long as the milk is produced and processed in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
so
that's the rule.
Right. Yeah, we basically said that no, we're allowed to have it in our schools so long as you're using Pennsylvania sourced milk.
Okay.
So it's a win for everybody. It's a win for our kids. It's a win for our dairy farmers. They get to send more of their stuff in school.
Right.
And we have a great dairy farm, a couple of them right here in Beaver County, but Brunton's Dairy is the best dairy farm.
The chocolate milk crushes.
The chocolate milk is just...
Get chocolate milk, ice cold.
And then their ice cream. They do ice cream too.
I know.
So we want to make sure that, we're helping out any way we can. It's one of those bills I thought made sense on both ends of it. And, parents don't want their kids drinking milk. They could have that discussion with their kids.
I'm quite a bit older than you, but let me ask you, in grade school when you went to lunch, what options did you have as far as what to drink? You had the carton of milk, I'm guessing?
Yeah, with the carton of milk.
You didn't have, were you the young hip generation that actually got soda machines?
No, I don't think I ever had pop. I think we had like phony orange juice.
Oh, the orange punch and the little barrel things?
Yeah, I think there was some of that. That's about all I remember though.
Okay.
Chocolate milk was the hit, right? I mean, that's what we were.
Was that available every day? Because in my grade school, every Friday, it was an extra nickel. As I sound like I'm 1,000, it was an extra nickel to pop for the chocolate milk on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so...
I can't remember.
How do you do your job? I'm dead serious. If milk is divisive, if people are coming at you going about milk... How can you function when I look down the list? You've got the Reggie insanity going on. You've got the drop boxes votes. You've got.
You have to. Two things I think is very important. Facebook's one thing, right? Because Facebook is not an accurate representation of what your district is or thinks.
Okay.
Because Facebook is from anywhere. It might be a fair representation. It might not be.
Okay. Because
people are commenting from every which corner of the planet. Exactly. So the one thing you have to do is be in tune with your constituency. And that's why every spring and fall, my staff and I, we do 3 town halls in different parts of we just had one.
You got one coming up, too.
We had one coming up. We had one in Vanport. We had one in Cross Creek in Washington County. And then now we're having another one in Hanover Township coming up here. I'm not sure the exact date. But we do it every spring. We have 3, and every fall we have 3, because you've got to keep in touch with people and understand what's out there, what they're really thinking about. The other thing is, and so with that as background and context, that you're staying in touch with your community, that
real people.
Yes, that you're out there knocking on doors. Like I'll be out there doing that again this year, because I think it's important. Not for campaign purposes,
right?
But I think it's important that that we do that. It's because you got to keep the pulse on what's happening. But with that as a context, with that as a background, you have to look at situations and make your own evaluation. You understand what your community needs by listening to your community, and then you take that knowledge to Harrisburg and you apply it to situations as it relates to different bills.
Okay.
And you make a decision. And you use your discretion on the basis of what you know and what you've learned and what you think is right. And you make a determination on each individual bill and agenda item, and you defend it on the basis of this is what's right, this is what's good for our community, and this is why I voted that way, or this is why I did this thing, and you go from there. And honestly, Eddie, if you're not doing it right or people disagree with you, that's fine. They're allowed to disagree, and there's also elections every 2 years. And if they think that they could, mount enough of the populace
get enough people to say, Josh is pro full whole milk, we got to deal with that guy.
Yeah, we got to throw him out of office, and you throw him out of office, and that's it. And that's how the representative democracy works, and that's how a republic works, and that's how I think it ought to be. I mean, you use the best knowledge you have, you use wisdom, and you try and do the best you can. And at the end of the day, if you're not doing the right job for your area, then they'll let you know, and you go find other work.
You go, what did Chuck Noll say? Go find your life's work.
That's right.
I want to go back to what you were talking about Facebook, and you made a really, really good point. I'm curious how many other people see it the same way. Facebook is not the real world. Yeah. You have to go out and talk to human beings. Are there politicians that are losing sight of that fact, that they believe the reality they're swimming in is the Facebook reality?
I think so. Here's the problem that I've seen with politics and Facebook.
Okay.
I think one of the biggest issues we have with Washington, D.C. is what I call it's turned into poor man's Hollywood. And what I mean by that is
you blame
people,
Reagan?
Yeah. Well, no. So I actually think it's more of a cable news issue.
Okay.
And clickbait issue.
Yeah.
I think people have recognized that they can become little, Hollywood actors or actresses.
Influencers.
Yeah, and so they say outrageous things or go on just so they can get on network television.
Right.
And be a talking head and go up there and keep throwing bombs and this, that, and the other. So it leads to a sense of fame, and people know who you are, and you can get pats on the back.
Yeah, but wouldn't that work against them as somebody that has to go out and campaign? If I'm looking at, if all of a sudden I wake up and you represent me, and all you're doing is going on late night talk shows, and I never see you in the district, I'm not going to vote for you anymore. Why, how is that a valid political strategy for success? Well,
there's certain, so one thing I will say, you don't see people in districts that are tight doing this. Like, for instance, you didn't see, I didn't see, maybe you did, maybe I'm wrong, but you didn't see Representative Lamb being a bomb thrower very often or being out there in front. Because he lived in a tough district, and that's not his style anyway.
Right.
But the people you see doing that are people like AOC on the Democrat side. There's obviously members on the Republican side as well. And they're in districts where they'll win or have no opponent. And so
they can get away with acting a fool.
Yeah, they can do that. Instead of focusing on governing and saying, hey, I could help my caucus and and grow our party and really drive an agenda that makes the world better, they get on television and wear dresses to certain events and get clicks for it and make a big scene, but it's not really helping the conversation or moving any direction. My point is that at the state level, where at the federal level they have access to all of this different network television, we don't. I can't call up Sean Hannity and be on there tonight or tomorrow or ever, right? I'd have to do something much bigger.
Start a fire.
Yeah. Or, it's very, very rare that state officials end up on. They're always looking at national issues and national figures, and that's fine with me. But Facebook becomes a microcosm of what the national cable news is, so that you can be a little, all-star amongst your own group. Right. You can post something, you can do a video, you can do whatever you want and say something very inflammatory, and it gets attention there.
Right.
So you get attention
and you get your own little clicks. They may be frowny faces, but you're still getting noticed.
And it may not be national news, may not be a national figure, but you put up a good post, and you can end up with 10,000 people viewing it, and you see that, and it's like, well, I want to keep doing that, and I want to keep having it. It becomes like we saw this a lot during the pandemic, and it wasn't intentional. But I had a friend who's actually my office mate in Harrisburg, and he's not a guy that's dying for that type of attention at all.
That's not his thing.
No, but during the pandemic, he wrote a Facebook post blasting the governor for. It was when the governor called someone.
The governor did something stupid because he was in charge.
Yes, and
not to leave it wide open.
And he really said something that was offensive And then the next day, he was out there protesting for a Black Lives Matter rally just after he got done pounding our constituents for being at a free PA or open PA rally. And it was like, what's going on
Hypocrisy.
here? Yeah. And so my friend wrote this piece on it, just a short paragraph or two. It was really well done. And I actually ended up sharing it because I thought I agreed with the sentiment, and I thought it was well stated. And sure enough, it ended up getting shared by like 30,000 people. And so it ended up being viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. And he ended up with a Facebook following just because of that. That was enormous.
It went from pretty good to a holy
cow. And it was national too.
Yeah.
And so he ended up in a situation where he had to turn it off, because he was getting phone calls from people in California about issues, and he was getting stuff from. He just said, I had enough. I don't want to. But a little thing like that can blow up, and he could become a instant,
Is fame intoxicating for some people? It scares some people, and they're uncomfortable with it. Like the guy that you just described, he's like, okay, this is getting ridiculous, I'm out. But
I think so. I think it's like anything else, Eddie. It's a magnifying glass on the human. And the problem is most of us have problems.
Yeah.
All of us do. And so you put a magnifying glass on us, all those problems end up coming out. So you have that issue. But it's also a tool. And if you use it the right way, you could influence things for the better. But if you use it to feed your own ego and to drive, your personal agenda, then it's just another tool that you're going to end up hurting somebody with.
All right. My guest is Josh Kail, State Representative for the 15th District, Rappin with the Reps. If you've got questions, you can call 724. I just drew a blank on the phone number, Curtis. It's early in the day for my brain. 774. Okay. Just follow it on Facebook and post it at the bottom and simplify it for me. Thank you.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 for the best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas. The show is hosted by Mike Romai and is dedicated to shining light on great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests that are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. The best of Beaver County is presented by St. Barnabas. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with new show host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com/the best of Beaver County. 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com, invite you to tune in to Sounds of Faith. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 for a mix of the best sacred music of all time. Sounds of Faith is brought to you by